Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion. Let's talk about why everyone is freaking out and what that means for gamers. And as always, welcome to Frame Dropped. Alright, so recently the news broke out that Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Activision has a market cap of about $51 billion, so Microsoft paid a premium for that company, but paying a premium isn't something that is unusual with acquisitions. So just to put into perspective how huge this deal actually was, with $70 billion, you could buy 140 million PS5s or Series X's, 961 G7 jets, it's over twice as much as the GDP of Latvia, that's $10 billion more than Nintendo's entire market cap, it's also a quarter of Elon Musk's entire net worth, and it is worth about 70 billion cheeseburgers. Also, I believe that this acquisition was Microsoft's biggest cash transaction ever. It's also massive in comparison to them acquiring Bethesda a couple of months ago. Bethesda set them back about $7.5 billion, which is almost 10 times less than what they paid for Activision now. Also, Jeff Keighley tweeted a pretty interesting list that shows that Activision is bigger than most other gaming companies. Sega, Capcom, Square Enix, Konami and Ubisoft all have a market cap of under $10 billion. Take-Two is worth $18 billion and even EA is less than what Microsoft paid for Activision. So the first question that I'm going to try to answer is, can they do this? And the short answer is, yeah. There's one thing that they can't do, they cannot create a monopoly, which would mean that almost the entire gaming industry would be led by one single company. And technically there could be an investigation leading into that because Microsoft would not be allowed to create a monopoly. But after acquiring Activision, Microsoft would only be the third largest gaming company by revenue after Tencent and Sony. So legally, I don't think that there's anything speaking against them acquiring Activision. So what does this all mean and what will happen from now on? Well, first of all, this deal will take quite a while in order to be finalized, and that will probably take until 2023. Microsoft has also stated that the very infamous CEO Bobby Kotick will for now stay at the company, but almost all experts agree that once the deal has been finalized, he will be gone. But once the deal has been finalized, Microsoft will own many beloved franchises such as Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, and even Candy Crush, among many others. So the biggest question now, and it seems the reason why everyone is freaking out right now, is will those games, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and so on, from now on be exclusive to Xbox and the Microsoft ecosystem? And the answer is yes and no, and we don't know. For more clarity, always come to Mr. Frame Dropped. So having some exclusives would make sense, but it would also make sense to still offer other games as multi-platform titles. If we take a look back at the Bethesda deal, Microsoft first stated that they do not want to lock out any other console users by making all of their games exclusive, but afterwards they said that the next Elder Scrolls and Starfield will both be exclusive to Xbox systems. Bloomberg stated, Microsoft plans to keep making some of Activision's games for PlayStation consoles, but will also keep some content exclusive to Xbox. Which is exactly what we just talked about. Jeff Grubb, for example, thinks that Call of Duty will be exclusive to Xbox. And I think that would make sense. It would make sense, for example, for the biggest franchise, for Call of Duty, to be exclusive to Xbox consoles, because the Xbox is already known for having great first-person shooters, and for example, that would make sense, and many people would probably buy Call of Duty just because of that. And then maybe other games in their franchises, maybe Spyro, Crash, Tony Hawk, all of that, because that also belongs to Activision. They could probably put all of those to Game Pass on day one, but also offer them to other consoles. Because I don't know if, for example, a lot of people would buy a different console just because of Spyro. So those that won't could still play it on the PS5. And those that have an Xbox could just play it on Game Pass. Also, the overarching strategy from Microsoft seems to be trying to get people into the Game Pass ecosystem, but also for 70 billion, I don't know if it makes sense right now to lock out a lot of players from playing these games, because that's also a lot of revenue that they're missing out on. Right now, all of that is speculation, but I think they mean it when they say that they will evaluate it, and we will probably have some exclusive games and some multi-platform games still. Also, again, it takes a little while, at least 1 year, to finalize this deal, and maybe there are already some other games in development by Activision that already have deals with PlayStation, with Nintendo, and they probably will still come out on these consoles, so it will take a little while. So as a PlayStation gamer, as a Nintendo gamer, I would just wait and see if there are some games coming out on the Microsoft platform in the near future that I really want to play, and that's how I would decide. Will this deal be a good thing for gamers? So on one hand, I don't think it's good if one company has that much power, and Microsoft has so much money and even more money to burn that I don't know where all of this is going, and maybe they will acquire more and more studios even, and I don't know if that will be a great thing in the long run for gamers. I also don't know if Microsoft is the best possible buyer for Activision, but I think that Microsoft is one of the only possible buyers because they just have a shit ton of money. On the other hand, I think for Activision, for their employees, and also for people who are fans of Activision and Blizzard's franchises, it is pretty great that they got bought by anyone. Because I think that Microsoft is one of the few companies that would treat their franchises with respect. And also, like, I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan. I like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games. All of these franchises belong to Activision as well. And now I finally have a little hope again that we will see more games in the future. And maybe even good games, because Microsoft probably will treat the franchises right. And that's pretty cool. But I think healthy competition in the industry is really good for everyone. So I think in the future, all three major console manufacturers will have multiple games under their hood that are reason enough to buy their respective consoles. And as long as that balance is kept and there's not one single company that dominates over all of the others, I think that's pretty exciting for all gamers. But guys, what do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Are you excited by this deal? Do you have a PlayStation and are now worried that some of your favorite games will be exclusives in the future? Tell me in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, because that helps me out a ton. As you know, I love you guys. See you next time.